All righty. It is Friday, and it is officially our jam session day. And today we are going to dive into a topic that, it was a question that was asked, and we're going to go in a couple of different areas here. But the question really was, Scott, should I start a podcast or a YouTube channel or a blog? What should I start with? What's the best use of my time? What would you do? So that's what we're going to talk about here. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that because I do have some thoughts. I've done them all, still doing them all. So I do have a little bit of experience here, and I am going to share my thoughts on that and my advice. And it is going to depend on some different things as far as what is best for you. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing. Today is officially, like I said, our jam session day. If you are brand new, I want to welcome you and say thank you so much. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you for showing up and finding the coffee talk. And I will also remind anybody that is here live or even watching on the replay that is a repeat coffee talk crew member. Just share it. Share this with other people. I mean, the biggest thing for me right now is to be able to show up here with a small group of people, hang out on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday morning live, answer questions, go into some topics that I feel that will help you. And from there, we can hopefully help you build your brand and also keep this thing up here operating correctly. Not always easy. This up here, a lot of time dictates what our outcome is because it holds us back sometimes. We got to do away with that. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. We're going to be talking on the jam session. And again, if you are brand new, the jam session is this basically. We're going to start with a topic and then we're going to jam on it together. And then from there, I'm going to open it up for some live Q&A. I also have a couple questions that came in through comments and I'll address those here today as well. And also we do record these for the podcast. So I will do a start and a stop. So that way there we can have a clean intro and we'll go from there. So let me go ahead and see who we got showing up here today. Nick Gamble in the house. Nick, what is going on, my friend? Long time no see. Thanks so much for popping on. It's just good to see your name come up. So Nick, hopefully all is well. And you and the family are doing well. Todd, what's up, man? Good morning to you as well. Looks like we got Salama in the house as well. What's up, Salama? Jason is in the house. Jason, thanks for that review, by the way, over on iTunes, which I should probably mention that. I'm doing something pretty cool right now. So depending on when you're watching this or listening to this, what I'm doing is I am putting an ethical bribe out there, an ethical, meaning, it's not a bribe that's like illegal. I'm basically bribing my listeners to listen. Right. And what that means is what I'm doing is anyone that goes over specifically to iTunes, listens to an episode, subscribes to the podcast, and leaves a rating and review. Okay. And the review is basically what I want from that is what is one thing that you've learned from the podcast? What's one big takeaway that has happened since listening? And if you do that, you will you'll help me because when you do that on iTunes, it helps you in getting found. But also, I love reading those comments and the feedback. It energizes me. It allows me to know how it's affecting you because, guys, right now we're together, but still I am sitting here in my office by myself, microphone, camera, just hanging out, and I don't have a live audience. I do, but we're not in the same room. So I like to be in person with people, but I also like to hear that feedback and I like to see that feedback. So what I'm doing is through the, all of February, I'll be picking a winner in March, beginning of March. We're going to give away a pair of Apple AirPods. I don't have them on my desk here, but I'm going to give away a brand new pair of those AirPod Pros. I'm also going to give away a copy of the book, The One Thing. And I'm also going to give away a copy of my book signed, The Take Action Effect. All right. Now, all you need to do to enter is just go listen to the podcast, subscribe, and then leave a rating and review. And then just take a screenshot of it and then just email me, scott@brandcreators.com with the screenshot, and I will enter you into our little fun little giveaway. So that's all you got to do. All right. Like I said, iTunes is like the main one that we want to get these reviews. But even if you left something on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you're listening, I'm cool with that as well. So either way, doesn't matter to me. Okay. iTunes is that's like the holy grail though. We love iTunes because it's so big. But I haven't given the podcast much love in the past year. I just kind of let it kind of go on its own. And I need to inject a little bit more energy in there. So if you could, again, share these coffee talks, share the podcast, and just do that, and I will enter you in to win this pretty cool prize. All right, or prizes, I should say. What's up there? It says, "Hey, Professor." So it's probably Alejandro, I'm guessing. Oh, Nick, good to see you. Doing great. Good to see you too. Ruth, what's up? Good morning. Debbie, happy Friday, everyone. Yes, it is a Friday. Yay, Friday. Although it's kind of rainy here today. But that's okay. We're going to have a good day. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to talk about these 3 different areas. And I'm going to jump in here in a second. We're going to kick this off officially for the jam session. All right. And you know what, guys, in the comments, do me a quick favor. Let me just know, are you currently right now creating content on a regular basis for your brand? Drop it in the comments. Are you regularly creating content? That could be YouTube, that could be blog posts, that could be podcasting, it could be maybe just Pinterest. Are you creating content for your brand? Drop it in the comments. I want to see. All right. There is your action step for the morning. All right. Okay, cool. Oh, wait a minute. Lucas, what's up, man? Hey, Scott, Lucas Walker. We did an episode a few years ago after meeting in Toronto. Oh, yeah. I remember you, Lucas. Let me know if you want to re-kickstart the pod with another episode. We totally could do that. And I do remember, I believe, your niche and all of that stuff too. So yeah, we could totally possibly do that. Hit me up, scott@brandcreators.com, and we'll do some back and forth there and see if we have some stuff that we could talk about that could serve the audience. All right. So cool. All right, here we go. So let me go ahead. And then what we're going to do is we are going to answer some questions too. And again, this is the Friday jam session. So I need to put this up here. First off, if you're not officially part of the morning crew, well, you need to become part of the morning crew. And if I can find my, here it is, takeactioncrew.com. It's free. And all you need to do is go there, put your name and email address in. You'll be officially part of the crew. And from there, you'll also be getting some special things behind the scenes when we release them. And then also you will have access to that player over there at Take Action Crew, which is a very smart player that allows you to really go through all of the past episodes and really dig through to answer any of your questions. So takeactioncrew.com. All right. So here we go. Officially, we are going to kick this baby off. It is Friday. This is our Friday jams. And this is where we're going to answer all your questions. But today we are going to talk about that one specific question. And then we're going to drill in mainly around content. All right, here we go. Sip of coffee. Here we go. For those of you that are brand new and you're watching this, I'm getting ready because we're going to make a cut here. And this is going to be aired on the podcast in a couple weeks. That's what we do on our Friday jams. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back to another Friday jam session. And this is going to be a good one because we are going to be talking about a question that I have been asked numerous ways. But the question we're going to be answering today is, Scott, should I start a podcast? Should I start a YouTube channel? Should I start blogging? Should I start Pinterest? What should I do? What is best to start with? That's what we're going to be answering. And there's a few different things we need to discuss to really know what is best for you. I'm going to give you my thoughts on all of them. Okay. And really the order that I would do those. But again, it is going to vary. Now, if you are listening to this on the podcast, well, I'm actually doing this live right now with a group of people. We call them our Take Action Crew. And it's where we show up every Friday, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. And we do this jam session. So we're going to do some live Q&A after we get done with this one segment. But if you want to be part of the crew, head on over to takeactioncrew.com. Again, that's takeactioncrew.com. You can go there. You will be able to join the crew for free. And you will also be able to have access to a really cool player that will allow you to search through all of the past coffee talks, which I think there's just about 200 there now. And you'll be able to ask a question in there, and it will come up with all of the instances of all the past coffee talks and show you exactly where that was addressed and answered or talked about. Really cool little player there. So go check that out, takeactioncrew.com. All right, cool. So let's get to it. Here we go. So what should I start first? Podcast, YouTube, or a blog? Those are the three main ones. Now, you guys probably know, if not, if you're first time listening to the show, you're going to know very soon. I am very, very adamant about creating assets. That's what they are, by the way, assets in my business that are evergreen. Okay. What does that mean? It means if I'm going to spend time working on something, I don't want it to be a one-off deal. Okay. Now, social media is pretty much a one-off deal in a lot of circumstances. Okay. Even right now, if you're listening to this, that's on a podcast. We'll talk about that and where that plays a role. But right now, I am doing this on Facebook. Okay. And I'm doing it as a Facebook Live. Now, I'm doing that for a bunch of different reasons. Okay. And I'll talk about those in a little bit, but this is not really evergreen. It's evergreen that it lives on, but I want to go after search. Okay. I want to go after search. And what that basically means is if I put a piece of content on YouTube, I know that someone can search and find that 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. Okay. That's evergreen to me. Okay. Now this is evergreen on Facebook because it does live on my page, but you'd have to sift through my page. And who really searches on Facebook for how to or any of that stuff, right? So it's not evergreen in that sense. So what we want to do is we want to take that piece of content on a social media platform and we want to evergreen it. And that would be taking it, turning it into a blog post, taking it, putting it up on YouTube, maybe making some pins on Pinterest that could drive traffic to it because that's a search platform as well. So I'm always looking for search platforms. Now, podcasting is technically a search platform as well, but a lot of people are not searching there for how-tos. They might be searching at first. Maybe if they're going on a plane, they're like, oh, I want to go and start, maybe looking into real estate investing. And then they would search real estate investing. Yes, that does happen, but that is not going to happen as often as someone landing on an episode or a podcast itself, and then seeing related podcasts. That's how you're going to grow the podcast. So it's not necessarily a great move for, yes, it's evergreen. Okay. So I've got 950, almost 50. It'll be 50 episodes on Monday, I think. Monday or Wednesday. I think I already recorded 950. So 950 episodes that are on iTunes, that are on Stitcher, that are on all of these different platforms. And there's episodes right now, all the way back to episode 1 that people are still listening to today, right? Now, if I was to start and look at that, like, okay, I'm going to start a podcast and that's going to be my main way of getting traffic, I would not start that way. Because a podcast, like I said, it's a great way to do this. It's a great way to build connection. It's a great way for you to hear the inflection in my voice, to hear the passion that I have, to hear my stories, right? So podcasting has been a great vehicle for me. It's been a great vehicle. And what I mean by vehicle is it's a way for me to connect with someone else and allow me to transfer my methodology, my thoughts, my beliefs, my expertise, like all of that stuff is transferred there. And when someone listens to a podcast, they're listening for usually at least 15 minutes, if the episode's that long. And a lot of times for an hour or more. I've had people that say, Scott, I went on a 10-hour flight, maybe to Hawaii or wherever. And I listened to you. I downloaded a bunch of episodes. I listened to you the entire way. That's 10 hours of someone being with you. So I say that because it's a really great platform for that connection piece, right? But if I'm looking at this, like I've got podcast, I've got YouTube, and I've got blog, right? Now, I personally, and again, it depends on the brand. It depends on the market, right? Something like this, if I'm doing some type of coaching, if I'm doing something like this, then a podcast is probably a great thing. If I am teaching people, I don't know, how to do vertical gardening, I probably wouldn't start with a podcast. I would start with YouTube, and then I would probably go blog. And then if I wanted to, I could add podcast, right? But I would go in that order. Again, so it's per, niche, or even for you, are you going to be wanting to podcast? You got to ask yourself, do you want a podcast? Do you want to actually show up and consistently put out content? Whatever it is that you're going to choose, no matter what, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. I've done 950-ish podcast episodes. I have never failed to publish one. I made a commitment, and actually in the beginning, I made a commitment for 25 episodes. I said, I'm going to record 25 episodes. I'm going to post them, and then I'm going to evaluate. Is it worth me doing it? Do I like it? And after 25 episodes, I liked it, and I was starting to build an audience. So you have to make a commitment, even if it's a micro commitment, and that could be on a blog. But if you try to do all three, I'll tell you this, you're going to get burnt out and you're not going to do anything. Okay? Most likely. We all do it. We want to do everything, right? So right now, I don't do TikTok. I don't do Snapchat. I don't do Clubhouse. Why? I know that they're there. I know that there's potential there. I know people have built huge followings on Instagram. I know people have spent a lot of time on Snapchat and built up a following there. TikTok, all of these, right? Clubhouse is the big new thing, and everyone's jumping on. I'm not doing that because I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to podcast. I'm going to do YouTube. I'm going to do blog, right? And really for me, podcast comes first because that's been my main vehicle, my main platform. Okay. So you have to decide that. There's not a right or a wrong answer, but I will tell you this, when you are considering how to choose, and you can always bolt one of these on. It doesn't have to be, I can only do the one. No, you can start with video. Here's the cool thing. If you start with video on YouTube and you start there, you can strip the audio and then create a podcast, right? So right now I am doing this live on Facebook. I'm broadcasting to YouTube, okay? And I'm recording this, and then it's going to get uploaded to the podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast, you're hearing the audio version of this, okay? So that's a way that you can take that piece of content and you can multi-purpose it. Okay. Now, if you are in a video and there's a lot of explaining and showing and like describing things, and they have to visually see it, it's going to be annoying to someone on a podcast that can't see it. So whenever I'm doing it, I'm conscious of that. If I'm sharing my screen, I will say, listen, I'm showing this diagram right now. I'm going to walk you through it the best that I can so you can visualize it. So I'm acknowledging that I know that you're listening to it on a podcast, but I recorded it on video. Oh, and if you want to watch it, go to the show notes and you can watch the embedded video there. So I'll make a note of that. So these are just things that you need to think about. And again, there's not a right or a wrong. But I will say this, whatever you do, pick one and stick to it. Pick one and stick to it and be consistent. And the way you do that is you create yourself a schedule. I created Monday, Wednesday, and Friday all the way back when I started the podcast over 5 years ago. I started doing these coffee talks. I was doing 7 days a week when we went into the pandemic. And then I said, you know what? That's a lot. I'm going to do 100 sessions that way. and I'm going to see how it feels. It felt great, but it also felt like, oh my gosh, like I got to keep showing up. I got to keep showing up. And I said, so what could I do that would make me feel good? I can still connect with people, deliver value, and I could also take some of these and turn them into podcast episodes. I said, why don't I just do the same schedule I've been doing all along, Monday, Wednesday, Friday? And all of you that have been listening for any period of time on these coffee talks, you've seen that all happen, right? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday are my days. Never miss. I've been here. And actually next week I'm going away. Actually, next Friday. So next Friday's jam session, I'm probably going to be in the car. I'm heading to Clearwater, Florida. So I'm going to be heading that way. I'm going to be in the car. I've already thought about it. I'm going to have to record that one in the car. I'm going to be in the car for like 8 hours. So I'm going to fire up the phone, whether my wife's going to be just sitting there as I'm answering questions or going through and doing a jam session, or maybe I'll be in the passenger seat and I'll just be kind of hanging out there. But I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to try at least, because that's my commitment to myself. It's my commitment to you. Okay. So you got to have that commitment, but I'm always thinking evergreen. So I want you to think, what is going to be the easiest for you to do that's going to be the most comfortable for you to do, but pick the one that you can be the most consistent on. That is the secret. That is the secret. All right, guys, that is probably going to wrap up that little section there. So we're going to pause there so that way there we can have a clean cut. And now we're going to answer some questions. So guys, what kind of questions do we have today? And if there's any on this, let me know and we will address those. Let's see here. All right. Here we go. Oh, cool. I appreciate your time, Professor. I will leave an iTunes review. No chance to win a gift needed. Much deserved. Well, you know what? Anybody that puts in a review or feedback between now and the end of the month is going to be entered. So, yeah, that's all. Let's see here. Yep. Ruth is doing blog posts and social media. Yes, you are. And you're doing a great job. And you're doing emails every single week. Let's see. Do you need 2 accounts on Convertkit if you have 2 distinct brands? You don't need to, but it is easier. It is easier. And I'm not sure who this is. It says Facebook user, so I can't address you by first name. But it is easier. But you do not have to. You can create different email profiles, so whoever you're sending, but you will need to segment inside of Convertkit. But if you have 2 distinct brands, you might want to just do 2 accounts, 2 free accounts, and then whichever one you need to go to paid, you can go to paid. It's up to 1,000. Let's see, 1,000 subscribers. There's no autoresponder built in, but there is broadcast, and there is some automated messages when people download things. So you do have that. You do have that ability to use that. We actually show that inside of the email list building fast track workshop, which, by the way, I should probably throw that up there. If you guys need help building the list, here's a little shameless plug for the email list building fast track workshop. Just go to emaillistclass.com. We show you how to use it in Convertkit, and we show you how to set everything up. We show you how to do it with the free account. We show you how to do it with a paid account. So that's inside of the workshop. All right, so let's go back to those comments. Let's see. Yeah, Lucas, good point. Podcasts can get 25 plus pieces of content and have a shelf life of like 2 years. Yeah, it can. And again, like I don't do as much of the taking the one piece of content and breaking it up into little mini pieces and blasting it out on Facebook and blasting it out on Instagram. I just have found that it's a lot of work to do that. You do need to hire someone internally. I like internally, someone to do that. And we just have seen like, it's not really worth us doing all of those micro pieces on all of those other platforms, because then that means we have to build that platform. So Instagram, for example, that means I got to continually try to get followers and all of that stuff. And the engagement is so low. It's just, for me, it's not worth the time to do that. But you are right. You can take one piece of content and break it up into 25 different pieces, depending on how long the content is. Oh, Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany. I don't know if I've seen you around here, but welcome. What program are you using now? The video is so clear. Okay. So I have a full video on my YouTube channel that actually walks through my entire setup here, all the way from the board, the mic, the light, computer, and camera. And so what I have right now is one of the big things. If you're liking the crispness of it, and you have a little bit of shallow depth of field back there, right? It's blurry back there. That's the camera and the lens. The camera is the Sony I think it's the Q5100. They don't make that one anymore. I think it's the 5200. But again, I've got everything over on my YouTube channel. If you go to Brand Creators, the YouTube channel, and just look up the live video setup, you'll find it. Everything is right there. And I'm inside of the program I'm using is StreamYard, which is right around $50 a month. And that allows me to record inside internally in the cloud on their server. Also, it pushes it to Facebook in my page, in the group, YouTube, and I can even do more if I wanted to. I've got an old Periscope account, which I was doing in the beginning, and then there was just a lot of, it was like just a lot of not good people coming on from there. So I just decided not even to go there. But yeah, that's what we're doing here. And then, it's CamLink. CamLink is another secret ingredient. The CamLink is a little device that gets plugged into the computer. And really what it does is it encodes the video before it hits the computer. So it allows you to stream at a higher bit rate, just to get a little technical. But this is I literally can walk in here and grab my coffee, set up. The cameras everything's already set up, and I just go ahead and just hit go, and I'm ready to go. And I think that's another thing, right? If you are going to do any type of live streaming, you want to have an area where you can just sit down and record. So you have to worry about all the setup. Jason, you better start planning for episode 1000. It has to be something big. It was funny. I had someone ask me that the other day, like, what are you going to do for that? And I was like, I should probably start planning that. I should probably have the date set for that as well. So any ideas, Jason, throw them my way. I'd love the ideas. Chantel says, that's how I found you podcast. Cool. So Chantel, if you're still with us, so you went on iTunes or whatever platform and you searched, or was it related to another podcast? I'm curious. How did you stumble upon the podcast? When you take Facebook Live and post it as a video on YouTube, does it do as well as video specifically made for YouTube? The answer is no, it doesn't. And I would think that a live video on that platform would do better. Facebook was favoring live video for a while, and you would think YouTube would as well. It just doesn't. I still haven't cracked the code on YouTube. It's a very, very tricky little beast, but I'm just still consistently putting up videos there. These live streams, I should get better about creating specific content just for that platform. But again, it's one of those things, like, this is easy enough that it just broadcasts over there. It creates the file. It's up there. And I might get 50 or 100 views on it. You know what I mean? Like within a week. So it's not a ton. Here's the thing. Here's where the numbers don't really matter. And I don't know if Jason, there's another Jason, not Jason Quint. There's another Jason, and Jason, if you are watching, I apologize, but he's now part of our Brand Creators Academy. He found me through a YouTube live. Right. So people would be like, well, Scott, what if you're only getting 50 or 100 people to watch that? Like, why would you keep doing it? Don't you want thousands? No, I'm okay with that, because there's going to be people that come over. I'll give you another example. I had someone come to my lake house for a $4,500 2.5 day retreat, where all we did was worked on their business for 2.5 days. It was 2 businesses. Each of them had partners. So it was 4 people. And it was $4,500 a business. And they came for 2.5 days. The one business came from YouTube, from me doing YouTube stuff like this. So you just never know. So I don't look at the numbers as much, right? I look at the quality. I look at people like you engaging. And you know what? Even though there's 26 of you right now, that's what the live number came in at, 26 right now live. And some of you might see it on Facebook on the one page, and it might say 4 people, and the other one might say 10 people, and then YouTube might say 4 people, whatever the number is that it adds up to. I'm seeing it collectively. So like, I'll get anywhere from 26 to 50 people live. That's not a lot, but you get 26 or 50 people in a room, it's a good size. And that's how you build relationships. So don't get hung up on the numbers. Don't get hung up on the numbers. Let's see here. Why did you start your podcast? Okay, I'll tell you why I did it. I don't like writing. Okay, there's no secret there. I don't like writing. I like talking. Okay, I like talking. I can explain myself better. But when I first started, I was also nervous that I was going to say things wrong. The words that I say don't always come out right. The way that I say things don't come out right. And I could feel at times like I would seem uneducated. And at times I probably do. But what really allowed me to overcome that was for me just to be hanging out with people like you and envision myself just hanging out with my friends that aren't going to really judge me that way. And once I did that, I was able to really let that go. So the podcast was an easier vehicle for me. Okay. Because all I got to do is hit record and go. Right. I mean, literally to podcast, you could take your phone, record in your voice memo, and then you could just publish that. I mean, super easy to do. But a lot of times people want to get fancy, right? Like this mic, I didn't have this mic when I first started. I didn't have the mixing board when I first started, right? You can get away with a Zoom mic for $100. I started the podcast, it was easiest for me. Okay. That's why. And I don't know, part of me wanted to just have a podcast, right? There's no secret either that I wanted to be a rock star when I was younger. And that's the truth. I had long hair, I had the whole thing. And I've always enjoyed being on stage. I've always enjoyed being in front of an audience. And I think I do my best work. This is like my zone of genius, as they call it. It's like my happy place. So this is easier for me. And being off the cuff is easier for me. Like if I had to do a script and read a teleprompter, I wouldn't do good. So you have to figure out what are your strengths? What are you going to be able to show up consistently with? And that's what it was for me. So that's why I decided that, Salma. Do you transcribe your videos for blogs? What do you use? Yes. Okay. So what we do is, there is a transcription, at least there was, but now I have a dedicated show notes, woman that does them for me. So what she does is she will take the episode and she will go ahead and give a really detailed summary of it. So if you've ever looked at the show notes, you'll see it's broken down so you could read it and it's not just a transcript. I didn't want just a transcript there, although I did in the beginning. In the beginning, I wrote them myself, like 150 words, like painfully writing 150 words, trying to just explain. And I'm just not good. I'm, with writing and summarizing. So I hired someone to do that. And that's part of the podcast. So that's part of like my production team. I have someone that edits the audio, the video, and then I have someone that takes the show notes and puts those in and does all that stuff now. So now I've gotten to the place where all I need to do is this, and then I download this, upload it to a Dropbox folder, and I'm done. But in the beginning, it wasn't like that. I was taking it, I was editing it, I was uploading it, I was tagging, I was doing all of that stuff. That's what I had to do, so that's sometimes what you have to do in the beginning. Let's see here. Would you consider Facebook user? I don't know who you are. So if you could put your name in there, that'd be great. I don't see the profile picture. Would you consider email a social platform, or is that to be used in conjunction with the ones you mentioned, YouTube, podcast, blog? No, email is not social because email you control. Actually, email is my favorite. Okay. Email is my favorite. There's no secret there as well. Email is my favorite. And I don't see that going away because when I write an email, I can hit send and send it to everyone that has ever subscribed and that wants to get stuff from me immediately. And I can immediately notify them. Facebook is tough. Facebook is only going to notify some people, and it's engagement, and there's all these factors that go into it. Email, you definitely got to make sure that you're getting through the spam traps and all that stuff. And we talk about that in our email list building class. But it's pretty basic, but that is my platform of choice is email. I mean, podcasting is the content side of things. Email kind of is, but email is amplifying the content. So social media to me would be amplifying the content. So to me, it would be like creating your piece of content, whether that's a podcast, whether that's a YouTube video, whether that's a blog post. And then your email list is going to be like, hey, I just did a podcast episode on X, Y, and Z. You should go check it out. Here's the link. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later. Scott, P.S. Oh, and there's one part in the podcast where I shared a tip on how to beat procrastination. And it's really helped me through the years. You should check it out. Here it is if you've ever struggled with procrastination. That would be that, right? So all you're doing in the email is you're amplifying. Social media, if you're going to jump on Facebook 3 times a day, you might want to just put a little blurb that says, hey, same thing. Like, go check out the episode if you struggle with this, that, or the other thing. Or if you want to find a way to catch more bass, I cover 5 of those right here. Go check it out. Amplification of the content is done through those platforms. But amplifying content through like Pinterest, I like that better because Pinterest is a search engine, right? Facebook is not a search engine. Instagram isn't a search engine. Snapchat is not a search engine. So if it's not a search engine, it's not evergreen. Okay. Even though it might live on, it's not evergreen to the point where people are going to be able to find it by a search. And that's really what I'm looking for is I need to publish stuff that is being searched for years from now. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Amplification is like email. Now, email can also, though, the really cool thing about email is we can create a sequence that will drip out content. So you can kind of set it and forget it and let people go through maybe, 10 weeks of something if you want. I like to just give them what they delivered on. And then I like to get them into my broadcast series where then I'm literally emailing. Like this morning, I emailed and hit send to everyone on the list. Right. So that's what I like. But yes, no, email is not social media in my eyes. Social media is really like you're on that hamster wheel. You got to keep feeding it. Tomorrow it's gone. Feed it. Tomorrow it's gone. Feed it. And I don't like that pressure. Let's see here. Oh, this is cool. Hey, Dave. Good morning, Scott. Just want to say thanks for all the gold nuggets. I'm driving truck and listening to all your podcasts while driving down the highway. So much great intel. Dude, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, that's what I mean. Like, people like Dave, they're in the car for a lot of hours and they're listening, right? I mean, imagine that. Like, and Dave, I don't know if you're still with us. Like, whereabouts are you? Well, don't text if you're driving, but yeah, I'm just curious because it's pretty incredible when you meet people in person. You hear where everybody's from and how they listen and how they consume and how it's changed their life and how this one nugget changed their perspective or whatever. So yes, really, really cool to be able to do that. And that is the power of a podcast or content in general. And Salima says, take a sip. I will. Oh, this is a good question. I like this one. Plans for the weekend, Valentine's. It's funny that you ask. My daughter, my 25-year-old just said, hey, so what are you and mom doing for Valentine's Day? And I looked at my wife and I said, I think we're just gonna basically, I think my daughter's got a practice. So she's going to be going to practice. We're probably going to watch. That's going to be our Valentine's. We also, we had a joke. There's a little sitting room that we have that we wanted to add a new chair. So we have a new chair coming. We don't know if it's going to be here in time, but yeah, we're pretty much going to be hanging out like we do every day. But as far as something special, I don't know. I might have something up my sleeve. I can't say because I think she can hear me right now. Oh, okay. Tiffany, did you stop Amazon? And if so, why? Yes. I did stop it, but I stopped it because I sold the business. If I had the business, I'd still be doing it. And someone asked me this question the other day, would you still want to use Amazon if you aren't using it still? And the answer is, yeah, I would still use it. It's a great channel. It's just right now, the business that I was building, we sold. And because of that, I no longer have any products that I'm selling on Amazon. Now, what we have done is we have a couple of case study brands. And in those case study brands, we talk about these in the academy, is what I'm focusing on there is content. Okay. I'm doing digital products, and we just started doing about a month and a half ago is we're doing Etsy stuff. And it's physical products, but a lot of it is print on demand, and it's all interlinked, so we don't have to carry any inventory. So I'm trying to get away from having the inventory thing because it's crazy when you get to a certain level of the amount of money you've got tied up in inventory. So right now I'm putting a pause on it. Doesn't mean I won't do it again, but right now I'm putting a pause on the Amazon side of things. Let's see. Have you used anything else for community apart from Facebook? Yeah, well, years ago I did. I had a forum. We had a forum for our photography, online photography stuff. And it was great. Then Facebook came, and then once people went to Facebook, it's hard to get people back to the forum. So to build the community, the best way to do it right now is going to be Facebook. And the reason why is because everyone is there. That's where everybody is comfortable hanging out. Everybody logs in there every day. You have to go where the audience is. So with that being said, even though you do that, you still have to nudge people because they're still bombarded with all of the other notifications on Facebook. So there comes the email. If you have the email list and you wanted to do a Facebook Live or you wanted to ask questions, you would then send an email and go, hey, I just posted this in the Facebook group. Let me know your thoughts. And that's how you can get that feedback. And you can then move around and kind of work around the algorithm of Facebook, because Facebook throttles back the reach, even in a private group, right? So no, and there's other ones now, and that people are using, but I'm seeing people use them and then they switch back to Facebook because the engagement is so low. So you have to go where the audience wants to go as far as where they want to hang out. And that way there you can keep that conversation going. So I would say Facebook for sure. And it's so easy. Okay, this is a good one too. Josie, if you had $5 a day to spend, would you advertise on Pinterest, Etsy, Instagram, or Facebook? I'm an interior designer. Thanks. Okay. Well, we'd have to really unpack this because it depends. I'm going to pull a Chris Schaefer. It depends. Because what are we trying to do? Are we trying to get a client? Are we trying to get a client locally? Are we trying to get someone to download our lead magnet that's going to lead them to our interior design ebook? We would need more details. I will say this. Pinterest is going to be great to drive people to a lead magnet or even to Etsy. There's someone in our academy right now that's, they have a pin that they created a couple years ago, and they're getting sales every day from that pin. And I don't even think they're advertising. No, they are advertising it. And I think they're spending like $5 a day. So it's one of those things that you're going to have to test it, but you also have to look at your situation. Is your audience on Instagram? If it's not, don't even consider it. Facebook is going to be a good one because you can really hyper target them, your customers or your potential customers. Facebook is going to be probably right up there. Etsy is good if you have product that's selling on Etsy, because Etsy is so simple to operate and it's very inexpensive. But again, it needs to make sense for that. So I would need to know, do you have products already selling on Etsy? If you do, maybe that is the best play right now, because why not advertise on the platform that you want to get your sales from? If you're looking to just build up your email list, maybe it's Facebook. If you are selling a product, whether it's on Etsy or even in your own shop, maybe Pinterest. So it just depends, and you might need to take $100 and experiment. You might need to do that. D says, thanks for always great info. Thank you, D. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you stopping by. And D is one of our academy members, so thank you for stopping by. Okay, now this one here, Facebook user, don't have your name. I'm sorry, it doesn't have your profile being pulled in, so I apologize. But says, I did my first live yesterday on my brand page. Small steps. That's a big step. And here's the thing. If anyone has a business, a brand, and you're building it and you have a Facebook page, do a Facebook Live, show something, show up, answer questions. The minute that you can start getting questions like I'm doing right here, you're getting content created for you and you're building connection. So it's just a really easy thing to do. And guess what? When you're all done, if you don't like it, just hit delete. It's that simple. That's the way you're going to get better at that. Chris, if you could recommend one book, well, I've got to recommend this one. I mean, you guys probably know the one I'm going to say. Got to get this one. It's my book, The Take Action Effect, of course. No, if I was going to recommend one book, there's two that I would say are right up there. And it is The Compound Effect or The One Thing, or both. Very, very good books. And they're all about simple and small. Simple and small. Actually, you know what? Get all three. I'd get all three. Get all three and you'll be set. Yeah, I would recommend those two for sure. Hey, Professor, idea for 1,000. Bring back old guests that you have helped. There's a lot of us. Been with you since episode 15 on the podcast. Boom. Holy mackerel. This is Alejandro. I know that. So Alejandro, you've been listening since episode 15 on the podcast. That's amazing. You might deserve a t-shirt. Confirm that that's the case, and we'll have to get you a t-shirt. That's pretty awesome. Tony, what's up? Hi, Scott. I'm looking to make a landing page to get more email addresses organically. Do you recommend Convertkit? Yes, I do. And if you want, you can go and sign up for free. You can go through my link, brandcreators.com/ConvertKit, and you will buy me a cup of coffee. And thank you for that. And if you do go through my link, send me over your sign up page when you sign up, and just send it to scott@brandcreators.com, and I will send you over some emails, some swipe copy. That's good for promotions. I'll send you over that. So anyone else too, if you want to go and sign up for their free trial, I don't get paid on that until you become a paid customer, but they still track it. So if you're interested, brandcreators.com/ConvertKit, and then just send me that email and I will, I'll send you over some goodies. All right. Let's see. Salma, if you were starting today, would you start a podcast first, sell on Amazon? Okay. What I would do, I'm not sure I would start the podcast first. I think what I would do is, and guys, go back and listen to, let's see here. It was last Monday. It was this past Mondays. So let me see here. If you go to the takeactioncrew.com page, you'll be able to see the last two episodes. I actually validated a niche that I stumbled on. If I was to go into that niche, that's a perfect example, which I may still, by the way. I'm playing with the idea. I already bought a domain name for it. I'm not going to give it away yet, but I did buy a domain name just to have it. If I was starting that one, I'm starting on YouTube, because it needs to be started on YouTube for demonstrational purposes. And it's going to be easier for me to do it. Then from there, I'm going to take that content and I am going to put it on a blog, and I'm going to probably have some a transcriptionist either go through, or someone that's going to take it and summarize it and put it on the blog. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing a podcast because it just makes more sense to do the YouTube than over. And if I did it on YouTube, I'm not going to rip the audio on that and then put it up on a podcast, because it's not going to make sense. You got to see what I'm doing. So that's a perfect example of, if I was starting that brand, that's how I'm doing that situation, right? YouTube. And then I'm taking that immediately and I'm going to create a blog post about it using screenshots and all of that stuff. And then I'm going to embed that video on that page, and I'm going to repeat that process. And then the other thing on top of that, then I'd build the email list, right? So that's happening all together. I would do a YouTube video. I would take the YouTube video. I would post it on a blog. I would write blog content around it, and I would put up a lead magnet, and I'd start building the list. That's what I would do. That's simple. And no, I would not start selling on. I would start being an affiliate for Amazon products right away, day one. Well, maybe day 30, because I want to get some traction. And then that will allow me to sell on Amazon, but I'm not going to sell my own physical products on Amazon. So yeah. Let's see. What happened, Scott? Chris says, yeah, I just answered that. And you said I couldn't say my own. So if I can't say my own, then it's going to be the compound effect, the one thing. I've got a lot of great ones, but those two really come to mind for me. Let's see. How would you store and deliver an audio lead magnet? Very simple in ConvertKit. You just upload that MP3 file and bam, you're good. So you can upload any file to ConvertKit and they will deliver it for you. Or if you want, you can upload it to Google Drive. You can link to that and there goes your storage. So that's how I would do it. I would store it in the cloud. And if you're using ConvertKit, it's going to basically allow you to basically create the lead magnet, the landing page, upload the lead magnet to the area where they want you to upload it, and then they're going to deliver it in that first email. Super simple to do. This is Alejandro, I believe. Hey, Professor, is your production team off of Upwork or someone local to you? Well, okay. I have reorganized my team, and the lady that does my show notes came from Upwork. And she's been now with me for about a year. And that's all she does for me is 12 episodes a month. So she does that. My father, who is my virtual assistant, if you will, he does my blog, my case study blog stuff that I'm doing, handles the writers. So they're on iWriter, is who we're using there. My audio stuff that's being done is done by my son. I've since hired him because he's good with video and audio. He's good at that stuff. So I said I might as well pay him than pay someone else. So I'm giving him that. Let me think here. Yeah, and I think that's am I forgetting anything? No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it for the internal side of things. So yeah, I mean, it's not like a massive team. My whole thing was to reduce the size and to make it simpler. But no, I mean, you can find great people on Upwork, but sometimes you can find someone that's, good at writing and you can just hire them and their, friends and family. So you just want someone that's going to be reliable, I think is the big one. Yeah, I don't know why your profile picture isn't showing up either, Alejandro. But whenever you say professor, I know it's you. Okay, Tony, this is a good one. Scott, I have just under 5,000 people in my email list. What's the best way to make those people brand ambassadors to encourage them to send me content like unwrapping videos? The simple thing there, Tony, is send them what I call the naked email. And you just say, quick question, or I need your help, something like that. And then you just say, hey, because what you're saying here is you want them to make suggestions on the products that they want you to do unboxings and unwrappings. Is that it? Oh, wait a minute. No, you want them to do unwrapping videos of your product. Is that what I'm hearing? If that's the case, then you could incentivize them by doing a little contest. Say, hey, if you do an unboxing video, I'm going to basically, I'm going to take, maybe do a randomizing, they have randomizing tools, and then just say you're going to submit you into this raffle or this giveaway, and you're going to give away some prizes. So you can encourage them that way to do it. I think that's what you're saying. Do you go on dates with your wife once a week? We used to when we weren't in quarantine, or well, not quarantine, but the pandemic, pretty much a quarantine. But yeah, we were trying to make it at least once every 2 weeks, but we were doing once a week here, and we started getting into a little bit of a rhythm, and then this whole thing happened. I think it's important. It's definitely something that I think you have to schedule as well, right? Because we just get busy, and it's like one day leads to the next. So yes, that is something. Let's see. Last year we missed out. This year too. We were supposed to go to Puerto Rico for the second year in a row, and her and I went together, just us. And I think that's important to do that after so many years of being married. And we missed out this year because of the pandemic, which really sucked. But we'll hopefully be able to do it again soon. Okay, Josie says, thanks. I have digital products on Etsy and my website. Pinterest has been good for me, but haven't tried advertising on Etsy yet. Thanks. Try it. I think it is going to be good for you. If you already have product on Etsy and they're digital, so your profit margin is really high, yeah, spend that money on some advertising and drive people over to your Etsy shop. Give it a shot. And you might need to spend $100 or $200 to get a full test. You can't test it for 3 days with $5 a day and then decide. It's got to be something that you do. And it doesn't have to be $5 a day. It could be $2 a day. But you want to be consistent with it. A lot of questions here today, guys. Hey, Professor, how does the Etsy business model look like? Website, catch email, push them to Etsy for Printful, repeat customer with email. It can. We're keeping it super simple right now. We are thinking to get a little bit more, a little bit more, I don't want to say technical, but a little bit more advanced with doing stuff like that, even from like a Facebook ad or even Pinterest. But right now we're really trying to just leverage the platform, and we're also letting the email list know that we have stuff over there. So right now I'm actually running a contest, a giveaway. I'm doing one as a case study for our Brand Creators Academy members. And I think we got like 5 days left, maybe we're almost at 400 emails, which is great. But in the emails that I'm sending out, I also make a note and a mention in the PS. Oh, and by the way, if you want to check out the rest of our products, go visit the Etsy shop. And then that way there, we're bringing attention that we have stuff for sale. If you don't win the contest, there's a good chance that we're going to send you a coupon. So that's like one side of it. But really right now we're trying to leverage Etsy to give us their traffic, right? And then we're going to play a little bit with some of those paid ads there, which we've already been playing a little bit, but play a little bit more. So it's kind of like a slow and gradual thing. Now, to get a little bit more advanced, we would then go on Facebook, target the right people, put some of our products in front of them, offer a 25% off discount in exchange for their email address, and then drive them over to our Etsy shop and then follow up with people that don't buy. Like that's the basics of that. Let's see. Yes, Jason, you're right. Story Brand by Donald Miller is also very good. Yep, it's on my bookshelf. It's very good. Oh, cool. Okay. Hey, Professor, no t-shirt needed. Got to pick with you when you came by Dallas. Appreciate the time. Stay safe, and we'll see you Monday. Yeah. And hey, send me that picture. I want to see the picture. I haven't seen it, I don't think. Let me see. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Okay. Will do. Thanks. Oh, and Carrie says, I want to start a blog with a YouTube channel. Then start it. It's not hard. It's just going to take one step at a time. So the first thing I would do is set up the YouTube channel, post your first video, set up my blog, my website, and then I would create that first piece of content there, my first post. And then I would embed the video, write about it, and you're off to the races. So there you go, guys. There was our Friday jam session. And look at that, just about an hour. So guys, if you have any other questions that we didn't answer here today or anything that comes up in the meantime, drop them here in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them. And I will be back here Monday. I'm not sure yet what the topic's going to be. I'll think on it. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, let me know. Yeah, we're going to dig in on Monday. We'll be back here and we're going to kick the week off with a bang. All right, guys. And one last thing. If you want to be entered into that little contest for getting the AirPod Pros, the book, The One Thing, and my book, The Take Action Effect, signed, then just head on over to iTunes, search for Rock Your Brand, subscribe, listen to an episode, and then leave a review, a rating and review, and just put one thing that the podcast has helped you with or at least opened your eyes to. All right. And that would be amazing. And once you do that, take a screenshot, send it over to me, scott@brandcreators.com. I will enter you into the contest. And then at the end of the month, we're going to pull a winner. All right. So that's it, guys. Have an awesome day. Take care, take action, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.